Hello and welcome to my RC channel. It's autumn here in the UK and the weather's taken a turn for the worst. We've had a fantastic summer. It's been great flying weather. I've been outside flying my mini quads, my modified mini quads, and I've been flying my FPV glider, the Hubsan glider. And so now I'm after a more indoor solution where the weather is a little bit calmer. So what I have here is my very first Hubsan H107D quadcopter. As you can see, it's got a few holes in it, a few modifications, and this is my very first quad that I had, and I flew it around for about a couple of days, and all of a sudden there was smoke pouring out of the top of it. So I let the smoke diffuse and I took it apart, and the little ribbon that connects the transmitter, the video transmitter, to the controller board had caught fire, or burned should I say. And so I looked to see if I could get a replacement part, and back then you couldn't. It was a different type of cable. So I emailed Banggood, I showed them pictures, that's where I got it from, and they said, don't send it back to us, we'll send you a new one, you can keep this one. So ever since, I've had a spare broken quadcopter with no video that I've wanted to be able to use in some way. So I've tried to attach an 808 camera using the video output. That was a little bit too heavy. Every option that I came up with was really difficult. And so I was on FPV Hobby's website and I saw a really strange video transmitter that was really appealing to me. It's a UHF video transmitter. That means that, well, here in the UK anyway, the old analog, so when it was BBC, ITV, it's those analog channels. In 2012, I think they switched it over to digital, and those channels were no longer used. And I always thought, isn't it such a shame that we don't use those channels in some way for FPV? Now, of course, it's not really legitimate transmitting on those channels, but this transmitter here is it's a 50 milliwatt transmitter. It's very low powered. And so I thought, well, I'll give it a go, you know. So actually I've managed to put it in the quad really easily, and I'm so impressed with the results. I've been very excited to do this video. So the setup that I got, it was the UHF transmitter. It's all inside, but I'll show you a bit later what it looks like inside. We have a 5-volt regulator in here that boosts the power. I'll explain that in a minute. And we've got a 1-gram camera with a wide-angle lens, and this wide-angle lens is fantastic. For flying indoors especially, which you'll hopefully see later, you get so much in the view and it makes it so easy to fly. So back to the transmitter, it's got a button on it, it's got 16 channels selected. I've chosen the lowest frequency. I don't know a lot about frequencies, but all I remember was when I was younger, BBC always had the best reception. When I turned on my old television over there that still had the BBC analog frequency keyed in, I could see that BBC One had the lowest analog frequency. So I think the lowest frequency on this was a 51125, and I've keyed that in, and I get great reception all around the house. Now, just a bit more on the power. If you put 3.3 volts through the board, you get 40 milliwatts of power, and if you have 5 volts, you get 50 milliwatts of power. So I've put the 5-volt regulator in, and I'm using a separate battery because it does draw quite a lot of juice, this. And so I've got a separate battery going to a micro JST connector. This is the battery off the Hubsan Q4 or the Proto X, whatever you want to call it. It's 100 milliamp, and at the moment I'm still in tests with this. I probably should have done more tests with the batteries. I can get about 2 flights out of this, which isn't great, but it's really, really great for flying all around the house. I've got great reception. So I'm probably going to try and upgrade this perhaps to a 200 milliamp, maybe use the 808 battery so I can get 4 flights in, 5 flights. It's usually, you know, you get these batteries where these additional batteries, they come in 5s. So yeah, really impressed with it. As for the range, it says on the website that the range is 200 meters. I'm not so sure about that. I'm not too bothered about the range. I wanted something that would cut through the walls better when it came to the video reception. The standard H107D quadcopters, you can fly them around the house, but you're very limited. I can only basically reach the room that's downstairs below me, and there's lots of video dropouts, lots of cutouts, and it's like you literally hit a wall when it comes to the frequency. You'll just completely lose it. With this option, because it's low frequencies, it penetrates the walls better, and you do get dropouts, but they are nowhere near as bad as the 5.8 frequency. So, how I've set this up, and the great thing about this is we've got TVs in every room here, as I'm sure a lot of homes do. Only a couple of them still accept the analog signal, because now, you know, it's pointless having an analog signal. But what I plan to do, I've got a TV capture card in the other room there. I'm going to plug the aerial up and capture the footage that this transmits, hopefully, and I'm going to FPV for myself, either on that screen or on that TV, through the TV card. It depends on the lag, because the TV through there will be using an MPEG decoder, so I think there might be a little bit of delay in there when capturing it, but we'll see how that works. What I'll do now is I'll just grab the camera to show you. You literally plug this in, tune your TV in, and it comes up on there. I should also mention as well, I tried a few different aerials. Aerials for this is very easy to get hold of. I just went to the shop, and it's a TV aerial. And I thought, well, if this is transmitting locally, then maybe it'd be better to have a local aerial rather than a receiver aerial that's on the roof here of the house. I tried a few, tried some game boosters, and you know what? The one in the house, it receives it just as good. So yeah, I don't think I'm gonna expect a lot of range out of this, really. It's more for the penetration of the video through the walls, and plus I think you know, as for the legality of it, I think transmitting high-powered UHF video signals, you know, you don't want to be doing that, really. It's not legal, but in the confines of this house, and it not transmitting any further than this house, I thought I'd take a go of it. I think the transmitter was £13, it came out to, which is really cheap. And so far, like I say, I'm so impressed with it. I've been so excited to show this, because I don't think anyone has done this. Obviously they sell it for FPV, but I think if a lot of people have avoided it or not been able to get it to work properly. I've seen one video on YouTube of a guy transmitting a video from his mobile phone, but never using an FPV setup. So hopefully I'm going to show you today, and I think it's really worth it. I can't give it enough praise. So let's have a look at it being plugged in and see how it looks on the TV. Okay, and welcome to HatCam. I hope you can see everything okay. We have the quad here and the battery that I'm going to power it up with, and then the normal old analog TV that's pretty useless anymore, or it used to be useless. We have this connected directly to an aerial that's on the roof. It's a high gain aerial. So if I turn this on, I've tuned this into channel 7. It'll take a while to boot up because it's probably as old as I am, this TV. Well, not quite, but there we go. Okay, so I'm going to plug in the LiPo. It's a little bit fiddly. And watch. There we go. Oh, I have to turn the volume down. I'm not sure how much of the television the Mobius cam will pick up, but there you go, you can see. That's me here. You can see the props slightly in the view because this is a very wide angle, but as you can see, it's as simple as that. No need for any expensive receiver equipment. We're just using the aerial on the roof. Just a quick one to show you how I'm recording this. We have a computer in the other room there, which I've actually remoted into so that we can record everything there, and I'm going to FPV on this TV here so that we can get a recorded version, and I can also fly as well. Okay, here's a look at the inside of this. We've got the UHF transmitter here and the aerial coming out the back, and quite a lot of wires as well. I didn't want to cut the wires off because I wasn't sure if this was going to work, so the wires are quite long, but they've fitted quite neatly inside. I've used a cable tie here to underneath to tie it down so it doesn't move. So yeah, we've got the UHF transmitter, and then we've got a 5-volt regulator here, so boosting it from 3.7 volts to 5 volts, you get slightly more power there. And then we've got the 1-gram camera here. I had to cut a little bit of the top off there so that it can fit in the housing. This is the wide angle lens that you can buy as well, and this is a micro JST connector. It's hot glued in there and there, so that when you pull on this, it doesn't pull the solder out, or solder, depending on your persuasion. Okay, here we have the picture. The quad is in the hall in the house. I've taken off. And apologies for the quality of the video. I'm using an old TV in card or out card, whichever you call it. That was for analog TV back in the day. As I mentioned before, UHF was the frequency used for BBC 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. And this is using MPEG to encode, so apologies on the quality. But as you can see here, I'm actually upstairs in the bedroom flying this. That's what you can't see. Now watch this. This room has no lights on. I've realized that this camera that I bought, it's a security camera, and it does night vision, which I'm absolutely thrilled with. Look at that, complete darkness there. As I fly out here as well, notice through the windows in the kitchen how dark it is outside. It's pretty much dark outside, but then here the camera flicks into kind of a night vision mode again, and we're able to fly in the dark outside. Look at that. Now we're getting some interference here. This frequency is prone to interference, but not prone to dropouts. One thing that I did notice is when I stand near the thing, or if anybody moves in the house while flying around, that does cause issues. You see interference there. But again, I'm a bit wary because I'm not sure how far the 2.4 gig is going to penetrate through the walls, because 2.4 gig is also known for not penetrating through objects very well. Anyways, let's maneuver very carefully through here. The wide angle lens, absolutely brilliant. Not great flying here. I think I clipped the wall there slightly. But you can see outside there just how dark it is. And look, that's the front door. It's really quite dark at this point. This is my first time flying this, so I go into this back room here. This is the room that I can't reach with the 5.8, and certainly with this level of lightness, I wouldn't be able to fly around in that room. It'd just be complete dark. In fact, I took the Mobius in there after the flight just to show how dark it was. I'm not even sure how that's going to pick it up. But anyways, you'd be able to see how far away I am, I think. I fly it around up the stairs, and the wide angle much better than the jelly lens on the quad that we've been modifying so far. Amazing. You do get that kind of bug-eyed effect, but you quickly get used to it. Now I'm flying into the room that's recording this flight. There's a laptop there on the drum chair there, and yep, so I just thought I'd go and take a look at that. Quite a bit of interference, but not that much. And then I fly into the bedroom where you can see me here. I'm looking at the old television there with the video feed, and you can see here as I start to fly around myself, we get quite a lot of interference, and that's something to do with me. I'm sure this could explain why that is, but yeah, we quite a few dropouts. So there we go. That's the flight. I'm really impressed. This is that room with the Mobius. What does it weigh, some people will say? It weighs 56 grams.